So greetings, what's going on? It's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com, and I wanted to check in. It is middle of May, I think. And first of all, let me say thank you so much for all the people that reached out and said, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Because I forgot that a few of my videos, my videos are delayed somewhat because I don't get to upload them at the time when I'm somewhere, especially when I'm in the Philippines and there's bad internet. You know, I really got to hand it to guys that like do these videos from the Philippines because the upload speed is really challenging. But you know, I mean, if you're in Manila, it's different, right? But was in Palawan for most of it, so it was really challenging. But anyway, so I'm back. But yeah, thank you for reaching out and saying, "Hey, I hope you're okay." Yeah, it was a few days in the hospital, and it sucked, right? But it was. It's all part of travel, I guess, and I'm much better now, so thanks. I feel a lot better. And drinking a lot of water, which is good. And so what I found interesting about the hospital. So the first hospital we went to, you probably saw some of the videos. There were geckos on the ceiling, right? And so we go to this hospital, and we go in, and the only room with air conditioning was the ER, the emergency room. There's only one emergency room. And so I'm on the gurney bed, whatever. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness it's cool in here. And then I got hunched over, and I'm like, oh my God, my abdomen hurts so bad. So they gave me, you know, the IVs, right, that I had. And they, you know, so the woman says, okay, we're going to put you in the best room. So she puts me in the best room. And it had no air conditioning and no screens in the room and a fan that worked, okay. But it was pretty hot. My biggest concern, though, was the fact that there were no screens in the room because she also came in and said, well, we think you have dengue fever, which, of course, is transmitted via mosquitoes, right? So I'm like, and you want it to get worse or you want me to get, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, it was mildly comical. But let me just say, I have GeoBlue insurance. It is underwritten by Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I think I shared before what kind of plan I have. I have the Trekker plan. But they took care of everything. They were really great, so I wanted to make sure I said that again. I know I said that in another video, but if you're doing any international travel, highly recommend GeoBlue, for sure. Sorry, video jumped a little bit there, so I just wanted to cut it and put this in. So yeah, so GeoBlue. Anyway, so the first hospital we go to, it's really bad. And so I'm like, I got to get out of here. And so we got out of there, and we went down to Adventist. And so we go into Adventist. They check us in, and luckily they direct bill to GeoBlue. But one of the more entertaining things was we're in the ER. We're in the, well, yeah, it was the emergency room, actually. It was a big emergency room and a bunch of beds. So it wasn't just one bed in the room. And it was like 2 in the morning, so there weren't that many people there. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And so I said, all right, Gracie, go get us, you know, she's going to, like, I'm going to go get us a room. I said, okay, great. Well, when you do, please ask for a private room. So she comes back, and they say, oh, no, sorry, we don't have private rooms. And I said, no. I said, go back and tell them we want a private room. Don't ask. And I said, it doesn't matter what it costs. I said, because there's no way it's crazy expensive, and my insurance company will pay for it. So don't worry. Key to your heart, honey. And anyway, so she comes back, and I hear her like walk around the corner, and the woman's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Mom, we don't have any, you know, private rooms." And she goes, I hear her sigh. She's like, "He's an American. He's got insurance." And she says, "Oh, we can put him in the new wing." So she comes over to me. "Can you walk?" And I said, "Yeah, I can walk." So we walk up these stairs, 2 flights, and you know, there's this water fountain on the wall. It was really nice. And we go down the hallway, and the room is definitely private, and it was imperfect. I showed you some pictures of it. But the point is that it was a little frustrating that they didn't want to give us a room until they found out that I was either American or had insurance. I'm not quite sure which one of those. Probably the insurance part was the more attractive thing to the women deciding whether I get a private room or not. But anyway, so that was great, and we made it in, and obviously I made it out, and you saw the videos. So I'm back here, and I'm at USD. I had a couple of conferences since then. I was in Vegas for about 4 days, 5 days, 4 days. and then I was down to Orlando, which took about 3 days, and that was just another IT conference. And and I was thinking to myself, God, I'm doing a lot of this domestic travel, and domestic travel for me is okay. I mean, there's plenty of awesome places in the United States for sure, but okay, sorry. So again, weird video on this. It's a MacBook Pro with like 8 gigs of RAM, and it's only 3 years old. And for whatever reason, if I record more than like 2 minutes of video, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I gotta slow down. I mean, anyway. I also don't have good experience using my my Chromebook to be able to record video, and it's like, Google, come on, this is how people communicate via your YouTube. Anyway, so what I wanted to say about the domestic travel and the fact that the United States is so massive, right? I mean, there's so many places you could go. I mean, I grew up in Boston and I lived in San Diego. I've also lived in St. Louis, but I vacationed, and gone to conferences like all over the place. But I wanted to touch on the whole domestic travel thing because while I love going to these other countries, and yeah, it always seems like I end up in some degree of calamity. But I will say the good news about about hurting myself so frequently, whether internally or externally, is that I do have experience with the medical care in these other countries. And so when people from this country start talking about, oh my God, Thailand's medical care, there's no way it's as good as here in the United States, and I'm like, Thailand's pretty amazing. But then when they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to move to the Philippines because, I mean, it's in Southeast Asia, so obviously the healthcare is going to be as good as, it's just going to be as good as Thailand. No. It's not. At least in my experience. And I don't have experience in every single hospital in every town of these countries. But my sample size, I think, is sufficient for me to make a generalization that my ability to get better medical care in Thailand than I can get in the Philippines for basically the same price is greater. Definitely greater ability to do that in Thailand. So anyway, but there is something to be said for the United States, and that's what I was thinking about when I was thinking about domestic travel, because I mean, I mentioned actually when I was in Florida, I was thinking about this, and it's like I can go from Florida to anywhere in the United States, and I close my eyes and I open them up in the next airport somewhere in the U.S., and it is so easy and comfortable, and I can walk out and everything is known to me. Every behavior that I need to engage in is like a default setting almost. And there's a lot to be said for that. But by contrast, I really do like the exploration, and one of the sort of little, taglines maybe that I had for my coaching company when I first started that 7 years ago was, ETR, measure yourself based on exploration, transformation, and results on a daily basis on whatever scale you want, 0 to 5, 1 to 10, whatever. How much exploration are you doing? How much transformation are you doing? And what are your results, on a scale of like 1 to 10? And I love the exploration. The transformation sometimes is forced, and I only like it after the fact. But, overall the results are like really good. I really like the experiences I have, and the more I explore, the more I want to explore. And I love that. So anyway, it's just my little check-in and my little summary. And again, thank you for all the people that were like, oh my God, are you okay? Yes. I wasn't okay initially when I started doing the video, when I was in the hospital and I had the gecko on the ceiling. But now that I'm back in non-gecko house, and I have screens in my windows, so that's a big benefit. I'm here to tell you that, the phrase, the United States, it's the best country in the world, I understand why people make that statement. It's the best for a number of reasons. And quite frankly, the only reason I have the ability to travel to these other countries and have the amazing experiences I have is because my dollar goes so freaking far. There's a lot of ROI, a lot of ROE, a lot of return on my energy. So anyway, I hope you experience that when you travel. Would love to hear where you've been, experiences you've had, and why you think or don't think the United States is the best country in the world. So there you go. It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com saying, I hope you're living the dream. I hope wherever you're watching this, you're safe and happy. Because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong.